Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today and we are diving headfirst into Cyberpunk 2077. This epic tale begins with us surveying the thoughts of a financial analyst who just may have nailed down a release window for Cyberpunk 2077. And this tale shall conclude with us looking at comments from a former developer at CD Projekt Red. Exciting times indeed. Let's start off by taking a look at what the financial analyst had to say. Now, before I really get into this information, I want to highlight this is opinion driven, this is not factual, and this is not from CD Projekt Red. Now, I thought a reason this was important to look at is because we do have analysts like Michael Pachter who have made predictions in the past just financially based, and they've been mostly correct. Now, don't get me wrong, Michael Pachter is also the one who's saying that console gaming will be dead by 2020, and when you look at the Switch, the PS4 and its success, and how presumably the next life cycle of consoles will be extremely successful, I think that they're not right about everything, and that's not what I'm getting at with this video. It's food for thought. It's good to get a discussion going on when this game could potentially come out, so let's take a look, shall we? The following information comes from DualShockers. While there is still no official launch date announced for Cyberpunk 2077, everyone on the internet is looking for signs and indications of when the game will release. In fact, we don't even know if the title is due to launch next year or some point further in the future. However, a brand new financial report from Polish investment firm Wester Dom Maklerski believes they know that release window, Q4 2019. The snippet comes from CD Projekt Red's stock analysis from Wester Dom Maklerski. The specific document, which you can view here, which I'll have linked down below, in case you aren't casually a Polish translatori, Reddit user Draken, who claims to be a native Polish speaker and translator, provides the following translation. Cyberpunk 2077 versus Red Dead Redemption 2. We're keeping to the estimation of a debut in Q4 of 2019 with sales of 19 million copies in Q4 alone and income of 1.9 billion PLN, about 525 million US dollars. During a conference call, the board has confirmed the quality remains the absolute highest priority for CD Projekt, and Cyberpunk 2077 will no less elaborate and be more polished than Red Dead Redemption 2. For comparison, the sales of Red Dead Redemption 2 gross was 725 million US dollars within the first 3 days after it shipped, 15 million copies within the first 8 days, and 17 million copies within the first 12 days. Data comes from Take-Two. The game was released only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One consoles. With that in mind, our forecasts for Cyberpunk 2077 seem well reserved. Remember, the game will be simultaneously on both consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, as well as PC. We also believe that the world of cyberpunk/sci-fi should be more popular among gamers than the Wild West. Now, I took it upon myself to take this section from said financial report and toss it into Google Translate. Now, as someone who does study a foreign language, I am well aware this is not the go-to place to get the most accurate translation, but just to kind of cross-reference what we had read versus what Google Translate gave us, they were roughly the same. I know there are many folks who doubt this will be a 2019 game, mainly based off the demo we saw where it looks fantastic, but that was a vertical slice of the game, a very tiny fragment of everything we're going to be playing, and it feels like we haven't overall seen too much. We had a trailer, then we had a big gameplay drop, and that was really it. So is 2019 just going to be a big year for Cyberpunk? Or if they're holding it back for 2020, will they continue to be more reserved? I personally sit in the crowd that believes this is coming out at the end of 2019. CD Projekt Red did previously say that Cyberpunk 2077 you can play from start to finish and complete the story. So I believe it's a matter of filling out the world, polishing things up, which naturally in CD Projekt Red fashion, they will take their time and not hesitate to delay their game like they did multiple times with The Witcher 3. I guess the only potential issue I foresee with a 2019 release date for Cyberpunk is hopefully that it doesn't drop around the Outer Worlds, because then you have two amazing sci-fi games going up against each other, and how are we going to pick? Because I'm personally stoked for both of these completely. They're the main games I cover on my channel at this point, and I think to myself, how would I even choose between these two? So hopefully when they do release, they're nice and separated. That would be just wonderful. I also want to note that it's quite interesting that an investor firm is comparing Red Dead Redemption 2 to the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077. Those are lofty comparisons because I personally found Red Dead Redemption 2 to be the best game hands down of 2018. Some may disagree, some may enjoy other games more. I totally understand that because this year has been fantastic. But personally, I think seeing them compare it financially, compare it quality-wise, that's a great sign for what people are expecting of Cyberpunk 2077, and we've seen CD Projekt Red admit they know the expectations are lofty, which is why I'm very confident that if the game isn't ready for 2019, that they will delay it. But I personally expect CD Projekt Red to slide right into the holiday season in that Q4 spot, which is, for those who don't know, October to December, and be the biggest seller of that point of the year. Last but certainly not least, we have some comments from Cyberpunk 2077's Associate Design Director. Let's see what he had to say over on Twitter about the game. Everyone, I have an announcement to make. My family and I are moving back to Finland, and I'm rejoining the awesome team at Remedy Games. I'd like to thank everyone at CD Projekt Red for the time I spent working on Cyberpunk 2077. It's gonna be killer to the future. Granted, I'm looking a little between the lines here, but I feel like when I read a lot of developer exit comments, they're like, thank you so much to this company and the people I met there, you guys quickly became family. It's usually pretty common to read stuff along those lines. So to see him emphasize how killer the game's gonna be and that he did leave on seemingly good terms really speaks to what this game is doing, man. I mean, he worked on it clearly for a while, so I imagine his heart's in it, but I'll take anything with this game right now. I mean, I cannot wait for it. It looks fantastic, naturally, from what we saw in the gameplay. Hearing these side comments, hearing these predictions, the expectations are there, and developers are somewhat backing it up with their comments, unknowingly, it seems. But I digress. I hope this ends up truly being a holiday 2019 game. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this information I brought to you, though, in the comments down below. Do fire away, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.